My name is Darren Gerdes, and this is the Daily Brief. So, about a week before the 2-year mark, we were at 400,000. We just passed 410,000 according to Ukrainian statistics. And look at that number of tanks again. Again, the Russians can replace about 3 a day. They destroyed 13 yesterday. That's a good day. Okay, let's keep going. Ukraine demands Poland punish protesting farmers for dumping grain. When we're talking about dumping grain, we're not talking about dumping it on the market. We're talking about actually dumping grain, like destroying grain, taking it out of trucks and just dumping it there. Ukraine has called on Poland to punish those responsible for destroying 160 tons of Ukrainian grain in an attack on a Polish railway station. Kyiv sent a note to Warsaw demanding that the Polish authorities find and punish the guilty. So Poland's acting up in a number of different ways. And I'm not anti-Poland, I'm just showing you some context here. Here's another article. Polish farmers are blocking a highway into Germany. Protesters have called on Prime Minister Tusk to discuss Warsaw's withdrawal from the EU Green Deal proposals. Polish farmers blocked a major highway into the city of Frankfurt. And then Polish Foreign Minister to Speaker Johnson on Ukraine, the credibility of your country is at stake. Well, yes, it is. I mean, that's a fair point. But what Poland is doing needs to be dealt with in Poland, too. Poland's foreign minister on Sunday doubled down on his push for the United States to support Ukraine, claiming he would tell House Speaker Mike Johnson the fate of the war-torn nation and credibility of the United States are at stake. It is. We need to address it. I would say as a former speaker to a current speaker, I would say, Mr. Speaker, it's the fate of Ukraine, it's the tortured people of Ukraine that beg you, but it's also the credibility of your country that is at stake. Fair points, all fair. At the same time, this is Anton Gerashenko. I'd like to share an interesting bit of research considering the blockade on the Ukrainian border and the protest of Polish farmers. Polish exports to Kyrgyzstan have grown 1,733% from February 2022 to November 2023. Why? Because sanctions don't work. Well, not like you would expect them to work. I've made this case and made this case and made this case. Sanctions alone don't work because they go around sanctions. It makes it a little bit more difficult. I'm not saying don't do sanctions, but sanctions by themselves just don't work. In February 2022, Poland exported about 2.33 million euros at today's exchange rate to Kyrgyzstan. By November 2023, the exports amounted to 42.7 million euros. Exports from several other countries to Kyrgyzstan have also increased on a large scale. Kyrgyzstan is one of the routes for sanctioned goods to reach Russia. Look at that. This was how much it has been exported to Kyrgyzstan since. It's unbelievable. Okay, so I'm not just beating up on Poland, I'm just following the story's thread, the arc of the story here, and it's really not looking great. Meanwhile, air defenses destroyed 9 out of 14 Shahed drones. We almost lose sight of, while we're chasing other stories, that this war is still going on. And in Russia, this is what they're selling. New popular toys in Russia is toy Iskander missile systems. It even fires missiles. Soft for now. This is what Russia puts into children's heads from the start, which is really scary. Now, I thought this was kind of a cool toy until you realize the context of the children in Russia who are being taught all kinds of other things. Like, I would have enjoyed a toy like that when I was a kid, but I also wasn't being groomed to be slaughtered 15 years later. Okay, so that's kind of the difference there. And then finally, we want to remember that 10 years ago, thousands of people in Crimea took to the streets to protest against the presence of Russian troops. The rally became a symbol of resistance to the occupation, which has been going on now for 10 years. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the likes and the shares and the subscribes. And thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.